The clock is ticking, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Gaza is on the brink of an unprecedented humanitarian catastrophe, as the United Nations warns that time is running out to prevent famine from engulfing even more areas. But here's where it gets even more dire. While the world watches, Israel's bombardment of Gaza City continues, raising critical questions about the balance between military objectives and civilian suffering. On September 7, 2025, the skies over Gaza City were once again lit by the terrifying glow of explosions, as Israeli airstrikes targeted residential areas. Reuters photographer Qamis al-Rifi captured the harrowing scene of smoke and flames engulfing a house, a stark reminder of the human cost of this conflict. And this is the part most people miss. Behind the headlines, hundreds of thousands of Palestinians are already facing or at risk of famine, particularly in Gaza City, the enclave's largest urban center. According to the Global Hunger Monitor, the situation is dire, and it's only getting worse. UN Aid Chief Tom Fletcher issued a stark warning. There's a narrow window until the end of September to prevent famine from spreading to Deir al-Balah and Khan Yunis. But with each passing day, that window is closing fast. Israel, which halted all aid for 11 weeks earlier this year, claims it's now facilitating more aid deliveries. However, international agencies argue that much more needs to be done. Here's the controversial part. While Kogat, Israel's defense agency, announced that over 1,900 trucks of aid were distributed last week, critics question whether this is enough to address the scale of the crisis. Kogat insists the aid is for civilians, not Hamas, but the line between the two often blurs in such conflicts. Israel's recent offensive has pushed its forces to within kilometers of Gaza City's center, where they've warned civilians to evacuate high-rise buildings allegedly used by Hamas. But Israel has yet to provide concrete evidence to support these claims, which Hamas denies. Overnight strikes killed 14 people, including an attack on a school sheltering displaced Palestinians. The Israeli military maintains it targeted a Hamas militant and issued warnings beforehand, but the civilian toll raises troubling questions about proportionality and the protection of non-combatants. As the war drags on, frustration is boiling over. Enough is enough, said Imad, a Gaza City resident, echoing the sentiments of many. How long will this go on? How many lives will be wasted? The conflict has also grown increasingly unpopular among Israelis. Tens of thousands of protesters, including families of hostages, have taken to the streets, demanding an end to the war and the release of the remaining hostages. Of the 48 hostages still in Gaza, only 20 are believed to be alive. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar insists the war could end immediately if Hamas releases the hostages and disarms. Hamas, however, counters that it will release all hostages if Israel ends the war and withdraws its forces, a long-standing position that highlights the deep-seated stalemate. Meanwhile, the human toll continues to mount, with over 64,000 Palestinians killed since the conflict began in October 2023, following Hamas's surprise attack that left 1,200 Israelis dead and 251 abducted. Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen, visiting Jerusalem, urged Israel to change course and halt its military campaign, expressing grave concern over the humanitarian situation. His call for the release of hostages underscores the international community's growing impatience with the stalemate. But here's the question that divides opinions. Can Israel's security objectives be achieved without further devastating the civilian population of Gaza? And what role should the international community play in brokering a sustainable peace? As the world grapples with these questions, one thing is clear. The people of Gaza cannot wait much longer. The time for action and accountability is now. What do you think? Is there a way to balance security concerns with humanitarian imperatives? Or is this a zero-sum game? Share your thoughts in the comments below.